Scott Wilkinson's here, our home theater guru. He joins us each and every week at this time to talk about big screen TVs and surround sound. And Scott, he's not telling me what, but he says, I've got big news. Hello, Scott. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Leo. I do have big news. This week, on Tuesday, Vizio basically changed the name of the game in big screen TVs.
Oh, my. That is
really
big news.
Yeah, it's huge. They have a series, you know, of some lines, right? The D and E series are the entry level. The M series is the mid level. The P series is their premium product. And then they have the reference, which is super expensive and does high dynamic range and so on. But well, for Vizio, it's super expensive, shall we say. The 65-incher is $6,000. But on Tuesday, Vizio announced and in fact made available, it's not even vaporware, it's actually people can buy it now, the 2016 P-Series, which has much of the reference series capabilities for like a third the price. It's really astonishing. They have high dynamic range in the form of Dolby Vision. There are two basic types of high dynamic range now, Dolby Vision and what's generically called HDR10, which is an open standard. Dolby is proprietary. And the reference series had Dolby Vision in it, and this new P-Series does as well. And it's going to get a firmware update in within 90 days to do the other HDR system, HDR10. So it'll be covered for both, which is what I've been recommending. It's what's called a full array local dimming or FALD TV, which means that there's LEDs behind the LCD panel, not along the edges. And there are 128 zones, so you get nice resolution in terms of what zones get dimmed and brightened, which improves the contrast ratio, which, by the way, they specify at, I think, 150,000 to 1. The UHD premium specification calls for a contrast ratio on LCD TVs of 20,000 to 1. So this exceeds it by a huge margin. I wrote about it on AVS Forum. I posted it the minute the embargo was lifted. And it kind of caught us all by surprise. I mean, those of us who went to the event, the briefing, we learned about it the week before, but we couldn't say anything until the embargo lifted. So the moment the embargo lifted, 6 a.m. on Tuesday, I punched the button and up it went. And it, you know, in the last few days, it's already gotten close to 2,000 comments. Some AVS members have already gone and bought the set and started posting their results with it. I mean, the other thing that's really cool about it, other than the fact that it brings a lot of the functionality of this very expensive set down into the mass market almost, is it comes with an Android tablet as a remote, and it uses Google Cast. So basically none of the apps, like for Netflix or YouTube or anything like that, none of them are on the TV itself. They're in this 6-inch normal Android tablet, kind of a generic Android tablet. And so it basically, the tablet, you pick what you want, and it casts to the TV. It tells the TV, okay, go to this URL, grab that stream, and start showing it. And Vudu is the other one that's really important here because they're streaming Dolby Vision high dynamic range content. So is Netflix. They started this week as well. So they basically, what they said was they separated navigation from consumption. And this is a paradigm shift. This is really important because, for example, when you're trying to set the TV controls, you can look at the tablet and the menu is on the tablet, not on the TV. So as you're adjusting the brightness, you can see the effect on the screen without the menu being there, which is critically important for calibration. Because very often you take a reading with a menu on the screen and it's not what the real reading should be. So they've taken a number of steps here that are really important. The one thing that people are really talking about, one of them, is that because of the feud between Amazon and Google, this TV, which is basically a Google Cast device, Vizio worked with Google for 2 years on it, cannot accept, will not have an app for Amazon content. And so people are kind of going, wait a minute, I can't get my Amazon on this? Well, no, because of it's not Vizio's fault. I mean, I'm sure you know about this sort of feud between Amazon and Google, but it means that certain content isn't available from one to the other.
I always feel like a smart TV, actually this may be the exception, but generally smart TV software is not great. So,
no, I think this is.
So you
I think
end up
this
buying
is an
a Roku,
exception.
but I love Android TV. I have the Shield, the NVIDIA Shield with Android TV, and it's quite good. But that is a huge missing piece because it's more the Amazon originals that you care about than the rentals. Because Google Play has, iTunes, Google, and Amazon all have the same movies, basically.
Yeah.
It's
but it's like Mozart in the Jungle.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that unless you buy, a Fire TV.
Right, and just plug it in.
Or something like that, and plug it in and use it, put it into a different input on the TV.
The feud is so dumb.
It's so dumb. Yeah. So stupid. I totally agree. The other thing that this TV does not have, which some people are complaining about, is it does not have an over-the-air tuner.
Well,
it's
there you
really
go.
meant. There you go. Now you can buy an over-the-air tuner, a separate one, an outboard one for $50 to a couple $100, and it'll have a DVR in it. You could get a TiVo, and you'd have to pay some subscription fee, but to get the program guide. But there's a way around that. Vizio, I think, is really striking out in a direction here that points the way to more online content delivery rather than over the air or anything else. Of course, you can plug in an Ultra HD Blu-ray player and other external devices to it. But this separation of navigation from consumption, I think, is pretty interesting. And the fact that you get a 65-inch with high dynamic range, Ultra HD, and wide color gamut, almost out to the digital cinema colors called P3, 96% of P3, a 65-incher for $2,000.
This is, this is a grab for the market, and I can't imagine that this won't be very successful if these TVs are as good as you say they are.
Well, and from the very early reports of people who have actually gone out and bought it, it's extremely good. In fact, I arranged for next Thursday on my podcast, my Home Theater Geeks podcast, to have an AVS member who has bought this TV and already played with it. So we're going to get an early report of actual in-the-field experience.
Wow. This is great news.
It really is.
I think the only thing you might hold out for is an OLED TV, and that's so much more money.
So much more money. And even the Sonys and the Samsungs that have similar capabilities are 2 to 3 times as much.
Wow. And by the way, I will heartily endorse Android TV. That the Google TV software is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's if that's the user interface. And I have to say Vizio's always had the best smart TVs anyway. So this is really good news all around. Yeah.
Big leap forward. This is really important. It's going to shake up the TV industry big time.
Very good. Scott Wilkinson. If you want to hear that podcast, it's every what day of the week is it? Thursday?
Thursday, 2 to 3 p.m. Pacific, 5 to 6 Eastern.
You can watch it twit.tv. That's my podcast network, or get it after the fact, twit.tv/HTG for Home Theater Geeks. And of course, Scott's the editor-in-chief of the AVS Forum at avsforum.com, where you can read all about this.